Today, ladies and gentlemen, we shall explore the PDWs in Battlefield 4 and try and find out which ones are the best, both from my point of view and from your point of view. So, let's start with what I think is the best PDW in the game, and I'm sure you've guessed it because it's on the screen right now. That's the Vss. This weapon has been my favourite PDW for a long time. A lot of you may remember that back in Battlefield 3, the Vss I would probably argue was better in that game, but the first two bullets always landed exactly where you fired them. So no matter what the recoil of the weapon was, both of the first two bullets would land in exactly the same position. So if you could get a double tap headshot, then you'd only need a third bullet following up to get that kill. Unfortunately, that hasn't transitioned into Battlefield 4, but that doesn't stop it being an extremely effective weapon at close quarters combat. A little bit of background about the Vss. This weapon was produced back in the 1980s and is still in use with the Russian Special Forces as of today in the Spetsnaz division, along with certain sections of the Russian army. Now, the Vss actually shares 70% of its construction with the Vss Sniper Rifle that was last available in the Battlefield series in Bad Company 2. Now, a lot of you might remember what that weapon was actually like, but I think it was a 20-round sniper rifle, and you could only attach a maximum of a 4x optic to it, and if you were going aggressive recon, because it done such devastating damage, you pretty much ran with this thing and went ham on the enemy with it. It was an absolutely brilliant weapon to use, and bringing it forward into Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 with the assault rifle variant that we have right here, even though it's classified as a PDW in Battlefield 4, it still makes for a really good weapon. Taking a look at some of the statistics for this weapon really starts to show why this thing is such a popular choice of PDW in the game. It does a max damage of 30 up close, up to 12 meters, which is pretty powerful if you think some of the assault rifles, only the Scar H and the Bulldog output those kind of values. And that drops off down to 16 damage at 55 meters, and the weapon itself fires at 900 rounds a minute. So if you do come across an encounter where you are only about 5 feet from your enemy, with that higher damage and really high rounds per minute, you're going to drop somebody almost instantly. Adding to that, you've got a short reload time of 1.95 seconds, which is extremely quick. That's only beaten by a couple of the assault rifles, the M416 and the M16A4. So if you are caught in a close quarters battle and you do need to reload, then you've got that high damage output. If you've got a few bullets left in your mag, you may as well use it. But always try and hold at least one bullet in the chamber left, because if you do drop out to 0 bullets in the magazine and you have to do a long reload, you're going to be waiting 2.9 seconds, which is sort of on the high side, and especially at close quarters where this thing excels, you don't really want to be hanging around for all that long. So all of those statistics make this weapon look like a really good choice, and I'd have to agree it definitely is. But when you look at the fact that it's only got 21 rounds in a magazine, you start to realise that it can be a little bit of a liability at close quarters as well. And that's not due down to the weapon, because in Battlefield 3 you had 21 rounds in a magazine as well, which was extended to 31 when you added the extended mag option. But in Battlefield 4, you don't get extended mags. The only way to get extended mags is to use the support class with an LMG that's got 200 bullets in it. That's the only way you can do it, because some do and some don't. I think it was a weird design choice coming forward into Battlefield 4 that extended mags wasn't included. I would probably argue it's one of the best attachments that you could have for your weapon, and maybe it was slightly overpowered with a PDW, I'm not too sure, but it really does let the Vss down in those close quarters battles if you do run out of bullets, because you're having to reload so often anyway. If you do hit the long reload, then you're likely to get killed. Moving on to some attachments now, and I think this is probably the best way that you can use this thing. It comes fully equipped with a suppressor. So you can't take that off, it's just inbuilt into the weapon. So you basically lose the ability to have any other barrel options for this weapon, which, I mean, in some cases can be a bad thing, because obviously you've got a very low bullet velocity with this weapon because the suppressor is included. But that gives you the advantage of always staying off the minimap when you use this thing, which is a massive advantage if you are using it in TDM or domination, where you're moving around quickly, there's always close quarters battles going on. And if you can stay off the minimap, that really will help you. Next, I went for a laser sight. Now, if truth be told, you don't really need one with the AS-Val, but I thought it was important enough that we should stick it on there and definitely give it a go, because it just increases that hip-fire accuracy so much in close quarter situations that you're pretty much guaranteed a kill if you do decide to come up against somebody. It's already got good hip-fire accuracy anyway, so you don't really need it, but I thought it made sense to stick it on there. And then I've also gone with an angled foregrip, because the first shot recoil multiplier for the AS-Val is 3.5, which is extremely high. So sticking the angled foregrip on there does reduce that down a little bit, and just gives me a little bit more control with those first few shots. Especially if you're going for medium range, this can really help you out. So overall, I really enjoy using the AS-Val. Pretty much the only thing that lets it down for me is the 21 rounds in a magazine, and that can just be solved by the fact if you always make sure you've got one bullet left in the magazine, then you're not going to have a problem, because it's got a really nice short reload there. But now we're going to move on to what you think is the best PDW in Battlefield 4, and I'm really not surprised by this turnout yet again. It's been that way ever since we started doing these videos, but here goes the top 5 for what you voted for. Coming in at number 5, we have the SR2, which was made available with the Naval Strike expansion for Battlefield 4, and that topped in with 125 votes. Just above that, we have the CZ3A1, the 1000 rounds a minute PDW. Seems a lot of people do enjoy using this weapon, but only 2 more people voted for it than the SR2, which I did think was kind of strange, because that 1000 rounds a minute can really help you in some sticky situations. Number 3, the UMP45, doing a max damage of 34 at close range. This thing absolutely wrecks people, and it came in with 143 votes. And number 2, my favourite, the AS-Val, with 236 votes, and as we knew it would, the Sig Mpx coming in at number 1 with 507 votes. This thing absolutely wrecks. Really high rate of fire, really manageable recoil, brilliant hip fire accuracy. The fact it does enough damage per bullet to negate the defensive perk of the person you're trying to shoot makes it a really, really valuable weapon if you've got it in your hand. Stick a suppressor on there and stay off the minimap, and you'll be golden with this thing. But that about wraps it up for the best PDWs. For the next episode, I'm going to do the best sniper rifle. This is one that I've been saving right till the end. I do have a couple more of these weapon videos that I do have planned, but I thought we'd get the sniper one done because it's the one that I've been looking forward to the most. So there's a link down in the description so that you can go and choose the best sniper rifle in Battlefield 4 or your favourite sniper rifle, and in a couple of weeks' time we'll see what comes out on top. But thank you very much for watching today, guys. Make sure you leave a rating and a comment down below. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.